So I'm talking now to Sam Silvester, who is a registered nutritionist based in Lambourne. Hello, Sam.
Hi, Penny.
Hi. So obviously, strange times and extraordinary situation everyone is finding themselves in, but health is obviously paramount, and I'm sure you've got some really fantastic tips on what people can be doing right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think everybody's at the moment a bit paralysed by, staying in and not really thinking that they can be really proactive and really help themselves in so many ways. Top of that, really, I see every day with my work the power of food.
Yeah.
And you can definitely boost your immune system with some really fantastic food.
Okay.
So my top tips, my 4 top foods really would be mushrooms.
Really?
Yes, particularly the shiitake and oyster mushrooms.
Blimey.
They contain something called beta-glucans, which work very well on the immune system.
Gosh, I didn't think mushrooms had any nutritional value at all. So.
Yeah, no, they're really good. And like I say, the more exotic ones have more immune boosting properties.
Okay, and dried, does it matter if you buy them dried or fresh?
Fresh is always better, but there'll still be some properties in the dried.
Okay.
And what goes really nicely with that are my other 2 top foods, which are garlic and onions.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people tend to use garlic and they'll put it at the beginning of a recipe and it kind of gets a bit burnt out and, loses some of its properties. So if you're making something like a bolognese, put it in a bit more towards the end.
Yeah.
Where it's still fresher. And of course, onions as well. Both garlic and onions have great antiviral, antibacterial properties. They're also very good for helping to clear mucus as well.
Okay.
So if anyone's feeling a bit congested, it's going to help in that as well. So you could make a lovely stir fry with garlic and mushrooms and onions.
And if you're feeling brave, I mean, is raw better? So I'm thinking of, I want to say guacamole, but I don't mean guacamole, salsa, where you have raw finely chopped onions and garlic.
Yeah, I think you don't want to overdo it. It can make people a bit nauseous if they have, too much raw, particularly raw garlic. And raw onions don't suit everybody's digestive system. But if you're good with that type of thing and you want to put perhaps some spring onions in, which wouldn't be quite as heavy, or, slightly less overcooked, onions and garlic would be a good thing. Okay. And the other great thing in the Lambourne Woods at the moment, we've got acres of wild green garlic leaves.
Yeah.
And those are fantastic for adding to soups and things like that. So there's slightly different properties to the garlic bulb, but another thing out there sort of waiting for us naturally.
Absolutely. And those through Lynch Woods, I know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you for that. And lastly?
The last top food would be berries, and as much vitamin C rich food, but particularly berries, which are great for just boosting our immune system. And if, a good way of getting really fresh berries this time of year is frozen, which is absolutely fine. You can make your own compotes, you can add them to porridge, you can add them to yogurts. And, you can make lovely smoothies with avocado and banana and things like that. So getting lots of fresh fruits is really important. And, I'm looking at the shops the same as everyone else and seeing all the shelves being cleared of the dry stuff. But there's still plenty of vegetables and fruits. So make the most of, cooking your stir fries, doing some lovely stews or tray bakes with roasted vegetables. It's really going to keep your health tip-top.
Okay. Can I ask about ginger?
Yes, ginger is fantastic, as is a bit of turmeric. I know sometimes out in the market they've had the fresh turmeric, which you can just grate into certain drinks and certain foods. I've actually got a recipe for a turmeric, apple and ginger shot. And I'll put that on my website if anybody wants to have a look at that under the recipe section. That's on whatseatingyou.co.uk.
I mean,
So,
I just chew slices of raw ginger now and again.
Yeah, and you can
okay?
put it into water. A lot of people, so they get fed up with the taste of water, just plain water. So put in some lemon slices in there. Lemon's going to give you that boost of vitamin C. Ginger slices. I put ginger in all of my soups. I put it in my cakes. I love fresh ginger, and the more the merrier, really. So that's another fantastic thing.
I have to confess, when I bought some last week and I saw that it said this comes from China, I thought, oh, blimey. but I thought, no, well, never mind. I'm sure it's fine. You just,
Yeah, I'm sure, yeah.
But it's something you think about with produce, especially if it's been imported. How clean is it? Do you have to skin it? It's travelled for thousands of miles and...
Yeah, I did read something about how long the latest reports on how long the virus is meant to last on surfaces. I think I've forgotten, but I think it's constantly changing. I don't think from what I've heard that it would last on a package all the way from China.
No, I don't think it would, no.
Yeah, especially if you're cooking something at high temperatures.
Yeah. But in general, even before coronavirus, you do think about the stuff you buy in the shops and the fruit and the veg and the apples and how all the pesticides that are meant to be on everything and the wax and everything on it. And bananas seem a safe bet because you just peel them.
Well, it's not always the case, actually, because some pesticides are uptaken into the cells of the plants.
Right.
So then your peeling doesn't always sort it. There is a list I do have also of the most heavily sprayed and contaminated and the least heavily fruits and vegetables. It's generally soft fruits and salads that are the most heavily sprayed, with apples coming out top.
So if pears you want to be bad. Well,
yes, yeah, apples, pears. So if you buy nothing else organic, at least get your apples and pears organic. That would be really good if you're worried about that.
But obviously, that's kind of going back to normal life. We're not in normal life at the moment, so
no, unfortunately not.
So these ingredients that you've mentioned are brilliant, because I think if things that people are bulk buying are not these kind of things, so they're likely to stay
and there are
available.
Some fresh produce that will last a long time.
Okay.
Things like red cabbage. I bought a great big red cabbage. I chopped half of it and made a lovely braised cabbage with apples. I've still had another half that's been sat in the fridge for ages. So that's something that will last ages. Butternut squash, again, you can keep those out of the fridge for a long, long time, as you can your sweet potatoes and your ordinary potatoes in the garage.
Well, and can I just, with normal potatoes, it's quite important to keep them dark, isn't it? Because otherwise they'll sprout and go green.
Yes, So a bag in the garage might be a great, ideally a Hessian bag if you've got one. Yeah. And also, although all the rockets and spinach and all those have more of the nutrients in them, I'm increasingly, during this winter time, buying the romaine lettuce, because, again, that just keeps forever. So if you want a little bit of salad at lunchtime, the romaine lettuce just doesn't really go off in the fridge for a long, long time. So that's another thing that you can, you don't have to keep going out and buying bags of salad.
Okay, because it's quite crunchy, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's another good thing.
Yeah, because you think, you worry about the waste. People are buying all this stuff up and you hope they're actually going to use it.
Yeah, exactly, definitely. And like I say, I think with all our local shops, we should make use of the fresh produce as much as possible. Yeah. Because that's what's going to, all the colours, dark and bright vegetables are full of antioxidants, which is another thing that's going to help keep our immune system boosted and happy. Yeah. But we mustn't forget some of the lifestyle factors. Yeah. Things like plenty of sleep. When I ask questions about how much sleep people should be getting, everybody says, well, yes, between 7 and 8 hours. And when I ask the question, how much are they getting? It's very common for me to hear about 6.5. Yeah. So, and I think the reasons that people aren't sleeping is overdosing on caffeine and overdosing on things like Netflix, where they just keep pressing the next episode.
Oh, I know. Binge watching late at night, yeah.
Sleep is when so much of our repair takes place. So it's one of the most vital things.
Yeah. And exercise.
Exercise. This is a perfect time, where people are working from home. I've already had some of my clients saying, I'm going to be getting myself out for a walk. Fresh air, being in nature and moving are great ways to keep all of the flow going in the body, which is going to feed the nutrients throughout all the cells and just make us feel brighter and happier. It's going to be quite tough being socially isolated, and the mood affects our immune system as well. So I think getting outside is going to lift our mood, boost our vitamin D to a little bit. But that's one of the key supplements, actually, that does affect the immune system, is vitamin D.
Oh, really?
And the government recommended even before all this that everybody should be boosting, everyone in England and the UK, because of the lack of sunlight that we get over the winter months, should be taking a vitamin D supplement. Certainly when you're fighting viruses, that's always my top supplement that I recommend for people.
Really? That's interesting. And because I'm always a bit skeptical with supplements, is it the right brand? And often they've got more than one vitamin in the same pill, and will they react with each other? Is there one that you recommend?
I like the BioCare range, the NutriGold range. Most vitamin Ds are all going to be fine, but there's a difference between D2 and D3. And most of the supplements out there now are D3, which is more absorbed.
Okay.
But what I see in the high street brands is that it's not usually sufficient. And the government guidelines is that we should be having between 1,000 to 2,000 international units per day. And that's shown as IU.
Right.
And sometimes it's shown as a different format in UG, which is micrograms, and that's 50 micrograms. So between 40 to 50 micrograms. Whereas a lot of the high street supplements are about a quarter of that. So if you've got a high street one, you can just double up or take extra to get you up to about 2,000 IU or about 50 UG.
Okay, and I mean, hopefully, I don't know if they stock them at the Lambourne Pharmacy or people can buy them online.
You can definitely get them online. Anybody who wants to go through me, I can give them a discount. I use the Natural Dispensary, which has a whole range of different supplements there, and I can get people a 10% discount on any supplements that they would like.
Okay, thank you.
And they may well do them at the Lambourne Pharmacy. I wouldn't be surprised if they do.
Yeah, okay. So we think of vitamin C and B, and I forget about vitamin D, to be honest.
Yeah. Another thing that's really important, what governs our whole immune system, is our good bacteria. And we've known that there's good bacteria in our stomach. We've known that for a long time. But the research over the last 3 to 4 years is about the good bacteria that lives in every system in the body. And this is the key modulator of our immune system. So keeping that topped up with things like live natural yogurt, sauerkraut, kefir, and if you don't like those, again, you can take a probiotic supplement.
Okay.
And that's a great way to boost your own good bacteria, particularly if you've had a course of antibiotics.
I do kombucha. Does that come in the same?
Yeah. Well, kombucha is good, but kombucha can be quite high in caffeine and can, make, and even though a lot of the sugar is burned up, it is a more sweeter drink. So you get some good bacteria from that. But have it in small doses. People do tend to overdo kombucha because it tastes so lovely.
Okay.
So it's something that you have, but in small doses and probably not close to bedtime.
Okay. And it makes caffeine, does it? Because
the kombucha is often made from tea.
Oh, okay.
So and the caffeine still stays in there.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah.
But I sometimes just do mine with ginger and sugar and water.
Oh, in that case, that's fine. If it's not
Okay.
made with tea, then no, there wouldn't be caffeine in it.
Okay.
I'm thinking of the tea-based
Yeah,
ones.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But just going back to the kind of basically cooking food, meals, I know a lot of pubs are going to be offering takeaways, but it is an opportunity for people who never really cook for themselves to have a go.
Yeah, it's an absolutely perfect time to just look at all aspects of your health. You've got the time to cook from scratch. You could make some lovely soups. Super easy soup is pea and mint with a bit of coconut cream. So you just boil up the peas, add some mint, a little bit of salt, pinch of sugar, stock, and then blend in a bit of coconut milk and fresh mint at the end. Simple, lovely pea soup. There are lots of slow cook things that could be done.
Yeah.
If you're at home, you could just put in the meat. Lots of frozen vegetables, if you like, root vegetables, sweet potatoes, and make some lovely, fantastic stews. If you've got any rosemary in your garden, then rosemary is another thing that's quite good on antibacterial, antiviral. So get some sprigs of rosemary into your stews.
And the good thing about I'm a leftovers girl myself, and how you can recycle. So you've gone to the effort to make this big vat of stew, but you can make it into Cornish pasties, can't you? And hot pots, and you can kind of make lots of different kinds of meals out of it. Yeah,
and I think that's another thing you can do with your, if you make extra food for your evening meal. Again, if you've got leftover veg, leftover potatoes, leftover meat, again, you could make a sort of stew come soup for lunch. And that's when you can start using up some of your dry ingredients like your rice. You can make some lovely rice salads with frozen vegetables, make a big batch of that. And, lots of roasted vegetables, as I've said. And then there are some of your sort of basic store cupboard things like using your tuna with some jacket potatoes, some of your beans to make a mixed bean stew, and if need be, jars of marinated peppers, things like that.
Yeah. No, brilliant. There's so much that we can talk about, and I'm wondering whether perhaps we can come back to you with some more ideas over the weeks, really.
Oh, yeah, I would be delighted to. I'm very passionate about health, very passionate about food, and want to help people change their environment and make time for health. So, yeah, I would be delighted to talk to you at any point in the future.
Lovely. Thank you, Sam. But in the meantime, people can contact you on your website, whatseatingyou.co.uk.
That's right, yeah.
And your contact details, your email address is on there, and your mobile number is on there.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and I've got a Facebook page, What's Eating You, and Instagram, Sam at Sam's Nutrition.
Okay, lovely. Thank you so much. Lots of fantastic ideas here, and we're going to keep everyone healthy.
Okay, thanks for having me, Penny.
Bye, Sam.
Bye-bye. Bye.